Hey, great Thursday evening. It is an amazing evening in the city of Brownsville, Texas. It's a little bit on the humid side, but all in all, it's a good night. Hey, Ricardo, how you doing, man?
I'm doing well, Erasmo. How are you tonight?
I didn't get arrested yesterday, so I'm doing good.
That's a good day.
Did you hear what happened yesterday?
Oh no, tell us about it.
We had a meeting at
Uh-huh.
um, at PUB,
Mm-hmm.
and it's open to the public meeting. Just one of those CPBU whatever meetings.
Yeah.
And they were going to talk about the reasoning why our bills are so high. So I went up there and I started to record. They kicked me out of the damn meeting,
Interesting.
out of a
Um,
public meeting.
hmm. So we have the Open Meetings Act, and where are we on the regulation that justifies not having a recording of a public meeting? Why would that be against public policy? That's the
Because
question.
it's their own private policy.
Hmm. Is there such thing as privacy when it comes to a tax-paying entity?
No,
Huh, there you go. I knew I ran across it somewhere in law school that was the people own the government, not the government owns the people.
it was crazy. And I opted to walk out and leave the meeting, and but a lot of individuals were a little bit on the upset side. I think it didn't vibe well for PUB or for the city of Brownsville yesterday.
Yeah, that's a bad way of dealing with a lot of people who are really, really not only not doing well financially based on this increase on the energy cost, but also a little bit scared. I mean, look how uncertain the future is. We're about to get into the colder months. They're going to come, a few months away. And can you imagine if it's people in the last freeze didn't do so well. You know, you gotta have energy. You gotta have heat. You gotta have these basic things.
Well, one of the things that someone shared with me who works with air conditionings, he stated that it costs more, it takes more power to heat your home than it does to cool your home. And I didn't know that. I was going like, how could that be? But if that is the case, we're in for a very, very frigid winter.
Well, I've got a nerdy mathematical formula for you. So most people cool their homes at 72, 74 degrees, right? If your average outside temperature, inside temperature is maybe 90 to maybe 100 degrees, that's a differential of 25 degrees, right?
Right.
Well, to heat, if it gets down to 20 degrees again down here, that's a big differential to adjust that temperature. That's more degrees. So I mean, it is going to get more expensive. I mean, with each amount of power that system has to exert, it takes up energy and more power to get more of a differential or change of degrees. So I think that, as they say in Game of Thrones, winter is coming, and
Well,
there needs to be some programs, something to help out.
you kind of scared me with all that math because the only one here that's good at math is Sam. Right,
Did
Sam?
I calculate it right,
Yeah, I
Sam?
was gonna tell you, people are gonna start resorting to other things to heat up the home, which in a way it's not might not be good because we always hear about those stories, people dying of carbon, was it
Monoxide.
monoxide?
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, so it's and like and we had mentioned before, man, it's gonna get one of those push to shove type of deals to where like, hey, you know what, all our money's going into the light bill. People still need to buy other things such as food. Now, maybe I don't know if there has been more people at the plasma centers. I haven't even looked into that. Where people can actually get like, is it like 800,000 the first month, something like that? I don't
I,
recall.
ya voy para allá ahorita. Well, I mean that would pay my light bill, you know.
Yeah.
And it's kind of a weird thing that you mentioned that because I actually got some calls today from some individuals. They said, Erasmo, you think it'd be okay if if we don't donate plasma? We're like, well, yeah, sure, why not? Como que they're starting to revamp the plasma thing. Uh,
Yeah.
well, a couple of them. Let me say, and right now when you mentioned it, Sam, it just clicked in my mind. Have y'all been down, Ricardo? Have you been downtown recently,
I go. Yeah, I've been there recently.
bro? I mean, I just came from the bridge right now. My scooter. I looked amazing. Let me tell you, hundreds of thousands of people, of hundreds, if not thousands of people
In line.
walking throughout downtown.
Hmm.
Individuals and we talked about this with Carlo, the immigration attorney, the other day. The individuals coming seeking amnesty, that's fine. They still cross over without the proper legal documentation. That's okay. Let me tell you, thousands of people there. My thing now that Sam mentioned is, can you imagine how many of these individuals are going to be in line there to give plasma away?
Yeah, but people need to
I
understand. They still
actually,
ask you at the plasma. They still ask you for like your social and documents.
No,
It's not like an easy like,
no,
hey, I'm
Sam.
up. Here's
They
my arm.
They
Give me
can't
some
ask you for
cash.
your social because we had a lot of people from Matamoros coming over to give plasma.
Well,
Ricardo?
if you don't have your social, they ask you for like a border crossing card. I don't know the exact
I have some insight on
policy.
this.
I don't know the exact policy. I just know that they ask you for an ID and you fill out some forms or whatnot, and then they give you like a physical,
Why
and
not?
then and what I think is like the first couple of times it's like $100. So if you go 8 times, because you can go twice a week for 4 weeks, that's $800.
I'm gonna go.
So you know the story about Matamoros and the CLS plasma companies and all that, right? You know about what
Nah,
they're doing.
we're having.
They advertise in Matamoros. They advertise for people to cross and give plasma, and I'm telling you the reason why. In many countries, they have outlawed being able to give plasma, I think, more than once a week or something like that. There is a specific guideline on it. And if you give it too much, you're subject to a variety of problems. And some people had randomly fainted and cracked their head. And there's even during the COVID outbreak, they had traced a bunch of people who were giving plasma too much to having weaker immune systems and being more likely to spread COVID. Anyway,
Yeah.
make a long story short, they do promote in Matamoros the plasma companies. People cross and give plasma.
Yeah, although I have heard about that, you can't cross just for that. Something like that. Like at the border, they ask you like the reason for your crossing, and you can't say plasma.
Well, I had heard that INS had shut that down for a little bit, the plasma giving, because it was considered compensation, but that the pharmaceutical companies were trying to fight that to
Yeah.
term it a different thing and not necessarily compensation, but something else.
Yeah.
Well,
I
let me
know
tell you,
there was hundreds of people that come over here because like even if they get like 40, $50, because after $100 they give you like $50, $45 depending on the weight. But that's a good pay over there in Matamoros, like $50, you know.
well,
So
yeah,
that's why they
people.
would do it. So and they still go back, get their groceries, and they could still work a day's work, you know, over there. But yeah, when they stopped that, there was a lot less people, and they kind of lessened the amount of people that they were getting over there at the plasmas. But that's just one of the resources. I know that they were mentioning. I guess that there were more assistance. Um, I think it was PUB the one giving out numbers for assistance or something like that. Not too sure if they were actually helping. Um,
Well,
but
well, my concern is, w- why has it gotten to this?
yeah,
You know, and that's one of the things that, again, a lot of people could go out there and say like, well, it's something is something. They're doing something like, but the real question is, how did we? And I'll give you an example. Not when I first started to lose weight, you know, I went and I weighed myself, and I was like 493 pounds. And my question was like, how the hell did I let myself get to this point? Get to this point. And then I did corrective measures in order to try to go back. And I'm actually where I was when I was in junior.
in junior high.
I'm actually at the weight when I was in junior high because I was still kind of chunky all over it. But my question is, how did we get to be to in this position that we're in?
Yeah, they're kind
We
of making us like just say like, "Hey, man, it could be worse," and you're like, "Oh, be happy that it could be worse." It's like how they say, like, "You want some answers? You want to keep on bitching?"
it's incredible.
I
Yeah,
think they keep
pero
underestimating the people. I think it's just a continuous slap in the face of the people saying, you know what, you don't mean anything, you don't come out and vote. You know, the political class comes out and votes, and you don't matter if you're too busy struggling week to week to come out and vote. And people have a chance in November to make their vote count.
hey, and just to clarify, people, to confirm, you're a lawyer, correct? I'm trying to like recap on everything. Could you,
Correct.
because some people don't vote because of like I guess priors. Could you clarify on that? That to let them know that like even if you have priors, you can still vote.
Yeah, just go get yourself registered and you'll sort out the process with the registrar. They'll tell you if you qualify or not. There are people who are trained professionals you on a case by case basis and determine whether or not you're qualified to be registered to vote and where you're registered to vote. And everybody knows that if you're convicted of a felony, that may preclude you from being able to vote. We got that. But if you had a misdemeanor for a DWI or whatever, that doesn't keep you from voting. Go to your local voting office, go to your local voting registrar and find out. It's as quick as ordering a quarter pounder from McDonald's. It's that quick.
I agree. It's really I think that for our community, we are at that turning point where yet another opportunity has been presented to us. Another opportunity, another opportunity that I hope that our community doesn't squander.
I'm tired of seeing people who don't have the determination, the hard work ethic, and the talent without leaning on politics. You keep on seeing it. People who have these get rich quick schemes or want to compensate in some way and be very materialistic or rich will get into office in order to do that. They rely upon our money as taxpayers to figure out how to slither through and grab money and use influence to get rich. Can we please move away from that?
Well, I don't know if you all saw that today. Uh, we did see the financials for part of the financials for our county judge in regards to the amount of money that partial amount of money that he made from Tanasca deal. The amount of money that has been proven as to right now during the Tanasca deal, while he was sitting as city commissioner, he raked in $355,000. $355,000. The audit has already been seen by a couple of people. I've already got word that that audit is going to show that Eddie Trevino made $1 million off of Tanasca, way over $1 million off of Tanasca, and that's and what it's just infuriating because on top of making all this money, $1 million during his tenure as a county judge, he still asked for a 20% raise. A 20% raise. I mean, when does it
Look,
stop?
in all fairness to everybody involved,
Yeah,
in all
restar con
fairness to
todo.
everybody involved, people just need to see the facts. Let's see the evidence. Post the audit. Let's put it out there for the people to see, and they can make a determination on it. I'm telling you that nothing's as powerful than a powerful piece of evidence.
Well, it's going to be impressive. And one of the things that I had made mention to Commissioner Roy Las Chanclas was let the chips fall where they may. If whoever needs to, to fall, do not have these sacred horses out there. These individuals that you are going to want to protect. Whoever needs to fall needs to fall. Let the chips fall where they may. And I'm hoping that that's actually what they're going to do. And I will say that I will be very, very proud uh, for the individuals who would want this audit to be completely transparent. I was actually out there picking up a sign that had fallen down. That's what I was doing on the street. I go 78 degrees. Oh, on the thermostat. Yeah, I'm not doing that. I need
Hey, let people know you still have signs for the yard or something. I don't know.
guys. I still have I still have a lot of yard signs, guys. I plan to personally go distribute them after I come back from my little vacation. Personally, as to deliver yard signs. But if you want one, need one, stop by my office.
And right now
Everyone,
we have like what is it, 1,000 people online? Like and subscribe the page, people.
like and subscribe that damn YouTube.
It's showing 1,000 people. And hi to all the state reps and senators watching right now.
Please like that page. Right. Everything going up because nobody likes Biden. We need Trump back. 2024. Saludos, Mr. Barrera. Carlos Martinez. You got this one, Ricardo. I like this guy. You need to have him on. Have him more on the show. I'm trying. He's a busy man.
I
Everyone,
think he's talking about that guy, this guy.
no,
No, they already know me. They don't want me.
no one
Like
likes
it's
that.
usual here.
Everyone should go get assistance from the city.
Hey,
Brown.
Erasmo,
What? Go.
can we talk about this post by the sheriff?
Yes, we sure
You know,
can.
there's a post out there, and I'm going to read it out loud.
Go.
Cameron County Judge Eddie Trevino and Commissioner's Court defund law enforcement. Press release dated September 22nd, 2022. And I quote, it says, our detention officers and deputies are some of the most underpaid in the county, and Commissioner's Court refuses to give them a pay raise. The lack of livable wage is causing our jail to be critically understaffed, even with our efforts to keep the inmate population down. I'll tell you, in my practice as an attorney, you do not want a jail to get out of control. You cannot underestimate the problems that can come out of your county jail if it is not well managed. It is innumerable. I cannot describe to you enough. Everything from health concerns to more crime to you don't even want to think about it. The jail has to be well controlled. And we cannot be wasting taxpayer funds on that. And a little bit of investment in that, I think, goes a long way. But take this at Osmo and put it up against what you're finding out in this audit now. Where there's ugly little pockets of money going into the wrong places, right? Little mouse holes.
Let me tell you,
They're not being fiscal responsible.
Sam. Did you see that article by the sheriff?
Yes, but I know that it's been going on for months, and I know that in the meetings they've been going and I guess asking to release more money because they have it frozen. But they were like, "Oh no, we can't get some more people." Yada yada yada. Long story short, they're not gonna add any more money to it. They have had incidents where didn't they lose a person when they took him to the dentist or to the doctor recently? Like not recently, but like within the past
Some
couple
years
of
back.
years.
Yes, that was during Lucius term.
Yeah, but that's what happens when you're short staffed. Doesn't it?
Well, let me tell you, that happened when they were halfway short staffed. Now they're majorly short staffed.
Yeah. So now it's in the worst position than it is before. but I know it's been going. I know I've heard it before within the past couple of months. I want to say like 3-4 months back, of a person that keeps on. He went to the meeting and Trevino was like, "Hey man, we'll go to the other meeting where they talk about the budget, so you could tell them how exactly to manage it." But they weren't. They were pretty much just calling him out, and all the commissioners just. It's pretty much like everybody against him, which is not right because it's not the correct way to go about it. But they need to allocate money correctly. They need to spend it wisely. Um, but yes, like he was saying, like a jail understaffed is worst case scenario.
Well, Ricardo, would you say that it's not only detrimental to the, especially detrimental to the individuals that are working there, but also detrimental to the community that surrounds these jails?
Yes, and let me give you an example. And I'm going to give you an example that happened in Williston County. And this is not the same because Williston County had an incompetent private company running their jail. But it's similar analogy because, or similar comparison, because we're now running into having an understaffed and underfunded jail. So there were in Williston County, there was an inmate through lack of supervision and lack of having properly posted, uh, law enforcement there or people or security rather. A person died in jail, beaten to death, right? And it was an ugly situation, and it cost the taxpayers there lots of money in the lawsuit. And it's these little things that happen where there just isn't well thought out reasoning and good policy to preventing what could be incidents that could cost taxpayers millions of dollars. You have somebody who dies in there who isn't noticed has a treatable illness. You have somebody who is killed in there because there wasn't somebody posted that should have been posted to watch over a certain area. You have people that get out and kill somebody else. These are the kinds of things that can cost taxpayers a lot of money.
Well, I hit like. Thank you. I'm glad y'all hit like. More people need to hit like on that YouTube. Let me say, my biggest concern, and again, and I'm sure it is that one of the things that I think that uh, uh, the sheriff is fighting for is he wants to protect his staff. You know, first of all, protect the staff because they feel the brunt force of any insurrection or any issue out there. And let me tell you, I think one of the things that the sheriff has suffered from is that in all his tenure, he's just being slammed, by the same individuals that are supposed to work together with him. He hasn't been given a chance. And look,
Since day one, no, they
Since
were writing like stuff against them.
Yes, since look, like him or not, and I've stated this, the sheriff and myself are not the greatest of friends. We work well together. We're not the greatest of friends, and I've stated this. I love his parents. His parents are amazing. I love his parents, but again, not the greatest of friends. But he is our sheriff. Gotta give him.
You know who the main competitor is? The main competitor of the sheriff's office keeping control over the jail is organized crime. If you don't have a good taught ship of well-trained, motivated folks there, I'm going to tell you something. You're going to have the various factions start to turn our prisons into a money-making organized activity. And that's what the fight for as a sheriff. You maintain control over these detention centers and ensure that they don't get run over by the wrong folks. Because if they do, everybody's going to suffer. I promise you. If Grandpa goes to jail in the DWI, he may get killed in there. If your sister got into a little fight at a bar and spends overnight in Olmito, if it's not well taken care of over there, they may not make it out. Nobody wants that.
And do you think all of this happened ever since they lost a contract with the immigration of jailing of the immigrations? Or no?
Oh,
or
I
was
think it
this
was
before?
I think it was the
I can't
federal
really speak
prisoners.
to that.
Wasn't the federal
Yeah,
prisoners, Ricardo?
I can tell you what did happen. It was, and I'll tell you what did happen. Eric Garza, no matter what you think about him, won by a majority of the people, and he is our sheriff. And I think what's happening is these people, unfortunately, are just so high on the horse. The power is so big in their head that they don't know that those people are going to be voting in November too. And part of I think what I had heard during the election of Sheriff Eric Garza, people were done having, people were just wanted something new. They're ready for a new take on things. Yet you have folks that are sitting in there for years and years, and we're still not seeing real effect. Eric's got to be stopped. And I think the people may have something to say about that. I don't care what your opinion is on Eric. I don't care if you like him or you hate him or whatever. This to me, there's a job. He's wearing a job right now, a hat that has to get done. And I wouldn't want his job. It's a hard job.
A very hard job.
You have so many personnel. Yeah.
Well, let me tell you, I actually ran into the sheriff when I went to the Roast House grand opening. I went up to him, shook his hand, all respect. Came in for a hug, and I said, "Great job, keep on fighting the good fight, bro." He said, "Thank you." And I said, whatever. And look, and I say this to most, I've said this to Roy La Chancla as well, and everybody else. I want to be of service to you while you are serving the community, because I think that all of us, need to support whoever is our elected official if they're truly serving the community. It's our obligation to help me help you, help me help you.
And, Erasmo, if we take a poll of people out there, I guarantee you, very few people even know who their county commissioners are. I mean, look at the folks that are up there, and I'm not going to name any names, but some of them have been out there sitting there for 10, 20 years. What are their resumes? What have they accomplished? What level of education do they have? If you saw, whoever it is out of the supermarket, you could pass right by your county commissioner and not even know who they are. And these are the folks that you're depending upon to ensure that your voice is heard on, and the most, probably arguably the most important level of all politics. It's the boots on the ground, everyday living type of stuff that affects you every day. What your county commissioners are controlling. And you can see, whether Benavides or David Godsire or whoever it is, people don't even know who they basically are, but they just don't vote. That's the part of the problem. And if you come from an obscure area that has a low, unfortunately, low economic income, most people are so concerned with just making it to work, getting home from work and getting some rest before they have to go back and struggle at $8 an hour to make a living wage, or $10 an hour, or whatever it is, just to keep the lights on. They're not making time to vote, or they're not finding out what they need to find out. And that, to me, that's got to be corrected by not the people having to reach out, but the elected officials taking initiative to reach out, get with them, videos, make things more transparent by finding a way to communicate with your voters.
Sam, I agree with you 100%. Sam, just I heard some tidbits in regards to what's coming out on the audit. One of the things that came out was that at least at a minimum 35 million is going to contractors. Contractors for what? And that's what we're going to find out in the audit. But let me ask you, Sam, what do you expect from the audit?
Ah, that's a really good question. Like I want to, I'm hoping there would. How can I word this correctly without offending? I'm just hoping they managed the money correctly, but I'm pretty sure it did not. We're gonna see a whole lot of like overpaying of vendors. Um, I know I see that in the whole governmental contracts, governmental vendors of being overpaid, and that's what the whole Trump thing happened, where he was like trying to cut back on spending with the vendors, um, because we all know there's a whole lot of kickbacks with that. But you're spending people's money. You know, that's the people from Brownsville's money. It's not just their money. So that there's mismanagement. So it's difficult to kind of just blame one person from there of like for the mismanagement of money, you know. But there has to be held someone has to be held accountable for that.
Uh, I agree. Ricardo, what do you
A
expect
county
from the audit?
commission is not. I expect to see a county commission who is very good at spending and not good at managing. I expect to see a county commission that members are in the right place at the right time and their connections are getting a payout in some way, whether as a vendor or as a contractor or otherwise. I expect to see the numbers not add up. I expect to see there be some disbursements there that seem to be duplicative or redundant, such as double dipping. And I expect to see stipends and travel and things that make you go, you're going to be seeing, little, maybe a trip to New York here and there, maybe Vegas, maybe California to go check something out, and people read between the lines. You just need to see what it is. This is not going to be
Like
rocket
when they
science,
used to
but I
go to
will tell
Colombia
you.
for to bring business.
Well,
I remember that mayor that
Let me
used to
put it to
go
you
a
this
lot to
way:
Colombia.
let me put it to you this way, Erasmo. Every member of the Cameron County Commission went against Sarah Stapleton Barrera. Every one of them, by La Mantia's own piece of promotion, I believe had every one of them in public. They definitely put all the other county commissioners against Sarah. And Sarah still won Cameron County. Sarah still won Cameron County, although there was an army of long elected, bureaucratic, stale politicians backing up her opponent. So, what does that tell you for November? I think people are not quite buying it. People are mistrusting and ready for a change.
uh, I think so. And again, I hate saying it because I mean, I would benefit greatly from this change. But I really think that the sentiment of individuals out there, because I tend to try and follow them a lot by by a lot of the trends that I see on social media and stuff. I think people are just done. They're done. They're finished. They want no more of this, uh, because it's really directly affecting their pocketbook. My question uh, is it across the board? And if that is the case, and we're going to see a very red Cameron County.
Yeah, because
I
imagine they
haven't
could
heard.
cut back on that on PUB, and hopefully they could maybe cut back on the county, cut back on BISD expenses on the city of Brownsville, and actually allocate them properly to where they could actually help out the citizens of the area. We would be better off as a community, you know. But I think at the end of the
I
day,
haven't
the
heard
audit, I
yet
don't know if they're going
one
to change the
county
numbers or
commissioner.
not, but they might change them. They might end up changing the numbers to where it's like, oh, it's not going to show anything. That'd be like a worst case scenario.
Yeah, I haven't heard yet one county commissioner come up with an idea to create revenue to lower the taxes. I have only hear about spending, 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 projects here, this and that. And yeah, I guess you can interpret some of their ideas that if we did this in the long term, this could happen. But, I would love to see somebody with real management skill and talent and a resume hit one of these county commission posts, a whistleblower like you at Osmo or a talented, uh, rainmaker go in there and create something to give the people relief, to create a revenue stream that could actually lower fees and taxes. But instead, we have more spending and more costs going up from our county, from our cities. Why? Why? Why is this happening? Now, we can't confuse PUB with the Cameron County. That's a different thing. Brownsville PUB is its own situation, and it's child. And that child is right now needing to be taken care of, because I'm gonna tell you right now, that child ran away.
Yeah, in a very big way. It's really unfortunate, but it's systematic, because what's happening at the city level with PUB is systematic of exactly the same workings of the county. It's like they've got the same mo, the same mo in regards to how they do things. I was at this at the meeting yesterday, and I don't want to dog on the matter too much, because I think it's already been a deal. But to answer some question, we should get it. I think Friday. Friday no, I'm sorry, I apologize. Next week, Tuesday, after Tuesday, next week after Tuesday. But my
Hey,
concern
big
is,
question before you proceed.
yeah.
I just wanted to ask Susan if she got a confirmation about the meeting with Myra Flores.
Oh,
And now they were gonna meet up.
maybe
But I
she'll.
was wondering if it could meet up here in the show.
That'd
That'd
be
be great.
amazing. But let me say, one of the things that I've been very, very consistent with is that the individuals that are, really, really hurting our community in regards to no economic development, the cost of everything here locally, uh, are the same little clica that are on these boards and committees all throughout. And I shared a picture of the list of the PUB board members. You know that there's absolutely no one on there that is of lower income or middle class. They're all the wealthy and the elite individuals out there. So my concern is they live in a different world than 95% of the people here in our community. And I'll tell you why. Well, you know why, but I'll tell everybody else why. Guys, it's like Trey Mendez going out there and saying, look, this is my PUB bill, $600. Yeah, but we don't have access to BCIC money. We're not rich. We don't bank. We don't have property all over downtown that you don't pay taxes on. You cannot compare one to the other. Another vacation?
Mm.
I deserve one.
It's
I
So
think he's
where
talking
are we
about the
going to
Stein.
take it from here? Do we see? I mean, at the if we want to see the audit come out on Friday, and first of all, folks need to know that they're entitled to see the audit. That is the knowledge that's supposed to be the knowledge of the people. So if you don't see the audit on Friday, call up your county commissioner, call up your county office, whatever it is, and find out how to get a copy. Get it and spread it, and and maybe we can summary about what discrepancies exist. Somebody with the ability to see that stuff.
If you're banned from BISD games, are you allowed to go to away games like Mission Farm, McAllen? Because as far as I know, it's another district, not BISD property. Yes, you can go, Jimmy. Let's get on. I'm sure, Ricardo, can you share some advice on yesterday's fiasco at the PUB meeting with Erasmo recording? How could Erasmo have handled this?
Well, first of all, if you're ever in a meeting, an open meeting, there's something called decorum. If there is a particular rule against something, it's not a bad idea to check before you go. And I will tell you, first of all, there's an Open Meetings Act. So we know that people have a right to observe a meeting. But if their issue with Mr. Castro is the fact that he was recording, then they should cite to what policy they are, for example, in a courtroom, that's a different level expectation. You have to have a high level of control in a courtroom because you're dealing with very sensitive criminal matters and so on and so forth. Therefore, you have to get permission from the judge to video. This is different than being in a courtroom. You're at an administrative building, not judicial. You're dealing with something regarding simply getting information to the people. And you're an independent blogger, Costco. You have a First Amendment right. You have a right of the press. And I would argue that nowadays, it used to be back in the days, they wouldn't right of the press unless you are a known published newspaper, etc. Nowadays, a blogger, right, who writes and gets information out to the people does have a First Amendment right. So the test is Mr. Casto's First Amendment right to report to the people flying against the public policy of Brownsville PUB. So there's no evidence there was any disruption. So where is it?
There was none. And one of the things that I made mention, anytime that you're asked to leave, and look, because I know I could have done the one of these crazy people out there that, well, you have to drag me out of this place. You got to, and again, I don't want anyone out there bashing any of the security officers. They were doing their job. They're security officers. They're not law enforcement. They're security personnel, and I love them all. Great folks. Again, I would have preferred that individuals knew that when there was an authority figure there, you do as the authority figure says, and then later on fight them in regards to the legalities of it. But again, we weren't being disruptive. We weren't causing chaos. All we were doing is making more public a public meeting because it was open to the public. So you're giving them a wider audience. And this board committee was one that is supposed to help inform members of the community what's going on in PUB. So I was helping them do their job. It's just unfortunate that they responded the way that they did. It's just unfortunate. It's something that I will be bringing back up when I have a meeting with PUB and with Bruzniak, the CEO. Why did it have to
Erasmo,
get done?
why is it so? It's a great point, and it's actually an extremely well put legal point. You don't resist that type of law, security or law enforcement. You take it up later. There's no sense in making a scene, and you did the right thing. But let's now go back to the issue of videotaping, or not videotaping, but videoing a tax-based administrative meeting, right? Well, you see this all the time with county commissioners or city commissioners or people getting sworn in. Those are public meetings. Those get videoed all the time. Those go on Facebook, sometimes Facebook Live. Nobody makes those campaign personnel walk out of the building or because they're videoing, right? So, the thing that really hurts people is if you're going to have a rule, apply it to everyone and apply it fairly. Um, you know, why should the taxpayers be precluded from seeing their own administrators in an open meeting? Doesn't make any sense. So I think they should issue an apology to you,
Do you think there'll be a public
and I think
statement?
that they should delineate what the rules are. It could happen. I mean, if there's a public statement from them, they better cite the rule and why the rule exists. Because even if there is a rule that supports what they did, that's an elected official or appointed official by an elected official that made that rule. So all those rules need to be serving the public.
100%. Our jails, police, firefighters, paramedics, hospitals, and PUB are all understaffed because of greedy upper management. Let me say, one of the things that we've learned today well, we learned yesterday is actually that our Brownsville Police Department. Well, we already knew that they were understaffed, but now paramedics on our firefighters, they're going to be understaffed as well. And again, no one is going to want to do a county deputy job for $32,000 a year. I mean, you saw that, Sam, didn't you? You see how little they wanted to go out there and pay individuals to come and protect and
Yeah,
defend our people.
which averages about like 15 bucks an hour, I think, at for 32,000. And I know I kept on saying like, well, that's before overtime because I know they always offer a lot of overtime, don't they? To like the
Well, right
sheriffs
now
and
they
constables.
right now they do because they're so understaffed.
Yeah, but I'm like, don't you think you would want to pay someone like the same amount by just hiring more people instead of paying overtime to the employees? Because you're gonna overwork them eventually. They're gonna burn out. They keep on doing 60, 70 hours a week. People burn out, man, and then they're not gonna be performing at their highest potential.
Well, the question is, do you want to go risk your life working for the county, or would you rather work at Hobby Lobby? You know, at least Hobby Lobby, they're starting off at $17 an hour,
Yeah, but
and a lot.
nowadays they're kind of just as dangerous.
And yeah, well, yeah, it's true. I was
With
actually
the
going to say
shootings.
your chances of getting shot at Hobby Lobby, and then I said like, ah, well, let me rephrase.
Nowadays it's like, damn, you don't even know where's the next shooter gonna be at.
100%. Uh, it has many strategic alliances. Well, let's pray. Erasmo, Ricardo, when is the protest? Frankie was wanting to just to organize that. So we're going to wait to hear from Frankie, Claudia Hermosa. Saludos, Maria Hermosa. I have a feeling that the current county judge is going to lose re-election. Well, she should. Ricardo's correct. The constituents don't even know who the elected officials are, much less vote.
Yeah.
Can we get the lights on the pier at Jaime Zapata boat ramp fixed? Almost a year not working. And it's solar. Maybe it's haven't paid the bill.
But it's solar, he said.
Oh,
It's probably the battery went bad or something.
I was
Too
trying to.
much heat.
People here in the valley are so brainwashed by the Democrats that they won't vote them out. Let's see, building the arena. Can you can you
No, the
imagine
bigger hole.
if that arena crap would have passed? We would have been in such a sinkhole. It's not
Like
even funny.
you're short staffed on cops and like on the at the county level too. So if there were to be an event, they don't check out those cops, where would you get cops to like kind of check the areas?
Well, not only check the cops. Let me tell you, every single aspect from opening the ground all the way to having security out there in some way, shape, or form would have gotten affected by all this crap. It's a never ending story.
Hey,
Uh,
but they said they were just supposedly they were still going to build it. They were just trying to get assistance. Remember when they were kind of like trying to push it when they were trying to promote it? They're like, "Oh, it's still part of the plan. We're just trying to get assistance from the county." So let's see how true that is. Because even when they were promoting it, they were kind of backtracking the following like days after they had talked because of the way they were saying it.
well, it's going to be interesting. And again, I think that one of the things that is going to be important for our community is November the 8th. Legal corruption. That's how they reward their compadres for the campaign contributions. Yes. Hi, Sam. Where's Maggie? We don't know. Adami Hinojosa will win state senate. Preach. What would be needed to have a consent decree issued on PUB? I don't know what a consent decree is, Ricardo.
A consent decree. I don't know what that is either, to tell you the truth. I would imagine that there's uh, some sort of sanction that uh, puts them on blast for, not only raising prices in a way that people didn't even know was coming, and if they did suggest that it was coming, people still didn't really know. So don't justify that you said it was coming when you didn't do a good enough job. No, And second, don't be kicking people out of your dang meetings if you have somebody who's really trying to do it for the people, who's trying to
Agreed.
make a change for the people.
And why is that not on the front page?
Well, I can tell you why.
I'm
I
like, Castro got kicked out of a PUB meeting.
Yeah, I'm
That would have
surprised.
opened up like
Big old kind of worms.
harm.
I'm not interested in preserving the status quo. I want to overthrow it. Actually, Nicole. Sue them for violating your First Amendment right. You don't need to get arrested. Just ask them if they'll arrest you. If you don't, I don't get it. Mr. Barrera, hola. Mr. Barrera, what do you think will take to turn this city county around? It seems so hopeless that no one wants to be accountable to the constituents.
There's a couple things. First of all, a lot of these cities picked up on it. I think the county commission needs to adopt term limits, and the only way they're going to do it is if either they vote it upon themselves, or if they get an amendment to the Constitution of Texas to have the people vote on it. So, if it takes a constitutional amendment for that to happen, that's another thing. I think most importantly, we need to do a good job of vetting the current in. What do you really know about? I can't think of their names, man. I know Gus Reese, but the other ones, I don't even. The two older ones, the guy who always wears a hat, kind of looks like he's in disguise, and then yeah, there's and then one of them kind of looks like he wears a hat and an overcoat, and sometimes you see him places up. And there's and the lady who's that person's mom. Yeah, I don't even to tell you the truth. I'm heavily involved in politics, and I don't remember their names.
Sophie Benavides.
So who are they? Can we, maybe a couple $1,000 having a professional private detective do background checks on them, and get that to the people. That I think the people need to know who's there, what their financial connections are, how they make their money, why they're there, why they fight tooth and nail to stay there in a job that's supposed to be a sacrifice and a duty that they serve upon the community that's not supposed to be easy, it's supposed to be hard. So why is it that they're so dependent on it? People need to know who's there, why they're there, and maybe we should see their resumes. That might help.
Something. Yeah, I agree. Let me tell you, one of the things that I think a lot of the politicos want to struggle with is, having to present financials. My greatest concern in regards to presenting financials is not so much as how much money you come into office with, it's how much money you leave office with and where you got that money, especially from these positions that pay nothing. I'm pretty sure Politico will begin a security business and overcharge the county. I'm not interested. Oh, we got that one. Consent decree is an agreement of settlement that resolves a dispute between two parties without admission of guilt or liability. Most often refers to such a type of settlement in the U.S. Never heard of it. Invite Gene Fernandez to your show, please. I want madness to ensure. I love Gene. Love him. David Garza. Yeah. If PUB is so corrupt, how people say, why does it spell primos, uncles? It's spelled. I don't get that. Erasmo isn't paying attention.
It's what's it called when you hire pure relatives?
Compadres.
There's an English word for it.
Nepotism?
Nepotism. Yeah, PUB, primos, uncles, and brothers.
Oh, I am paying attention. Wise cat, stop being a wise cat. So Ricardo, what are your plans for this week?
Well, gonna do a lot of working, and I'm still here at the office now. I'm also studying, pursuing my master's at the Harvard University Extension School in Religious Studies. So I've got about 100 pages of reading to do there. But Erasmo, if I could go back a little bit, I want to answer Dr. Cisneros' question real quick.
Sure, let me go back.
I think we need one or both well at this stage of the game. Either they can whistle blow and root out and clean it up, and or they can create revenue through talent and experience known either in business, government, or both. And we got to have, for example, bright ideas and not just bad ideas like street lamps that cost the taxpayers lots of money and don't work right. We think it looks good. Just different overhauls and things, and let's just invest in this thing because it's going to be cool. Like, we cannot have our politics run by people with teenage mindsets. We got to have people who are in there who are fiscally conservative and creative to create revenue streams that give our folks a break. We can bring down taxes a little bit. We got it. And we got ideas. Look right order with a goal potential that for lots of reasons we could attract to this city. We keep on saying, we want to attract business from California and stuff like that. Well, good luck. We can do that, but how much of that revenue and talent could we pull in from Mexico here, that goes to other places? True, and I'm telling you, part of the reason why they're not secure and they're not sure they want to move here is because they're not working.
100%. I agree. Is board member Patricia Sampaio related to ex Matamoros Mayor Sampaio? Yes. Several law enforcement agencies and electric and gas companies are also issued consent decrees. Awesome. Appreciate you guys. Sam, anything other?
Like and subscribe, and don't forget tomorrow. Who's gonna be on?
Tomorrow at 9 a.m. in the morning, I will be on, and at 9 p.m. at night, I will be probably on a plane to Paris.
Hey, so whatever happened? I thought you said you were gonna bring on your mom.
Well, I tried. She
you said
I did try, but let me tell you, she goes like, no quiero salir. me va a dar vergüenza porque nomás me haces bully. I go like, I told her, Mom, I'm not going to do bully on you.
I was waiting the whole week for this.
I was like, Mom, I'm not going to do bully on you if you're right there on the show with me. She goes, no, hasta más bully me vas a hacer. Maybe, hopefully next week, not this week. I'm actually heading out to Houston in the morning. I will be doing the show anyway on the road because I will have my dentist and my other dentist that are going to be driving for me. So it should be good. I'm going to Paris.
Also, I'm so sorry to interrupt. If you have and people that are watching the show, if you have children that are turning 18, getting their IDs, it says to register to vote. I guess you can help them out with the whole, process of how everything works out of registering to vote. That way we have more people, because I know lots of people are going to turn 18. And I know it's already starting the process because you got to have it ready before the election.
Yeah. Anyone out there that hasn't registered to vote, come by my office. I am still deputized to vote people, to help people, to get people registered to vote. Besides that, the elections department is only a block away from my office. So please stop by. I've seen a lot of people turning 18 in these past couple of weeks. Get them registered quick. And anyone
that change, man.
Yeah, if anyone out there is going out to the army, going out to school, going out to work, remember, you need to ask for your mail-in ballot or come back to vote during early voting. Ricardo, thanks for coming on, bro.
Thanks for having me, folks. Y'all have a great night.
Guys, have a great evening. Social distance, face covering, hand sanitizer. Still believing all that crap. I'm done. Guys, be good to each other. Continue to be good to me. God bless. Like and subscribe to the damn page. Yeah.